or not too long ago.
What? Actually, Kuwait made their statement today. Yes. But they did that months ago in actuality. It was done months ago. It's just what the media is bringing out to keep us looking in another direction while they're doing their thing behind us.
Yeah.
For a lack
or
of a better word.
Emirates forgave some $7 billion worth of debt. So, in other words, the whole thing is all finished. They're just playing around with the timing.
Yes. And this debt forgiveness.
Did you say that?
Debt forgiveness. Debt forgiveness has to be on every country, for this global world financial system to work. And that's all they're doing now. And what they did months ago, we're finally hearing the names of those countries now, just whenever they want to throw it out there.
Okay. So when the Paris agreements were talked about, a lot of countries forgave the debt, and that has been done some 6 months ago.
Oh, honey, that's been done for 2 years. They brought it back up again maybe 6 months ago, but no, that's done. The Paris agreements are done. They are settled. They even put out the statement to the public on that. So it's done. The Paris agreements are done. Iraq is done. Iraq is indeed out of Chapter 7. I know it's hard to believe, but they are. And the only thing they're waiting on is for their currency to go national, international, and that's what we're all waiting on. And it's all to do with the world global finance restructure. Every country has to have their currency with a backed commodity from their country. Like if it's wheat, if it's timber, they have to have a currency that they can back up with so much to prove its worth. And that's what they're fighting over.
Well, if Iraq is going to be over the OPEC and entered into the WTO and all that, they need all these things to happen soon, don't they?
Yes. In fact, all of that really is done. They just have not made
background noise.
They just haven't made the world announcement, dear. It's all done.
Okay.
Next question, please.
We thank you for all that you do. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Have a good evening.
Angel Quest and Papa Bear, how many more questions do you want to take?
Well, what time is it? My goodness, it's already 9 o'clock.
We've been on 1 hour.
Let's take maybe 3 more and cut it off.
Okay.
I have a total of 4 in queue.
Okay, that's great. That's fine. Right there.
All right. Area code 937.
Hi. My question is, the powers that are, or how are we going to be protected from them causing the havoc that they've caused in the world today? And how are we going to be protected from this type of people in the future?
Well, in honesty, we all have to be devoted to remembering that this is one nation under God. We let them do this to us because, as the Bible says, our eyes were closed. I don't go forward thinking, what if? I know it won't be, and that's how I have to live my life every day. When you see something being done, whether it's toward another person, whether it's just made a statement, we have to stand up. We can't just turn our eyes and say it's none of our business. That's how the powers that be got in. They granted everybody their own little niche that they can pray different places and in different religions. I have nothing against that. My issue is this is one nation under God. Be you a Hindu, be you a Muslim, be you whatever you choose to be. The issue is we started this country of the United States under God, and under God is where it should be. And when we started turning our back and letting our kids be unruly and we can't discipline them because somebody's going to call and say we're beating our child, come on, people. We got to wake up. When we get this back in our hands, we have to learn to treat our neighbors as we want to be treated ourselves. And if everybody realizes that one rule of thumb, then we should be okay. And I'm not worried about the powers that be, because God will bless us 100-fold, and we don't ever have to worry about that issue again. It's up to us. This is our freeing by God one more time.
Angel Quest, in a way, then this transfer of wealth and the restructuring of the global economy is, in essence, a dumbing down of those powers that be, so to speak, isn't it? I mean, there's a lot of power that's being taken away, and that's why it's taken us so long to get where we are at the moment. Is that correct?
Yes, we have given them that power by not being astute enough in who we elect, by giving them too much power in our proxy, and by just turning our head and letting them do what they want. That's how they got this power, people, because we were out having fun and games, because they were telling us, oh, do this, oh, be married, buy you a big house. This is what the American dream is. Well, wake up. We can't all afford that multi-million-dollar home. We can't afford 10 cars in our driveway, not if we're only making $10 an hour. But we let them feed us that, and we were all excited. This is how they got in the last time, and we can't let them do it again. And as long as we all remember that the government should not control the people should control the government. We've got it made. I don't care how much money they have.
Hey, Adele, I do have one over here on my board, this other board.
You can take it.
Well, okay.
Take it.
Okay, we'll do that. It's an anonymous number. You're up.
Papa Bear?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can, sir. And Angel Quest, you as well?
Yes, I'm here.
Question. Did you learn, Angel Quest, about the prosperity programs and the World Global Settlements via just your research, or were you intimately involved with them at some time in your life and maybe continue so today?
Your answer to both of those is both.
I ask that because I go way back in this story as well. I listen into different people on the Dinar story right now who are catching on to this in a way that they don't even, I think, realize. I could name some names that are talking about things that are obviously all of the things that we heard about starting from my little world, 1996, that were bringing up all of the changes in the banking system, the Basel III, everything that we heard in 1996 and 97 as to what we could anticipate happening, we're now hearing about, but we're also hearing about from our quote-unquote gurus who were not looking for this. They were looking at Dinar's story, and they are starting to trip over this story, and it's very challenging for them to explain. Would you agree with that, Angel Quest?
Yes. If it took me, well, let's see, mine was more like 73, but say 30 years for me to even believe it. I did. I thought it was all caca myself until I started seeing everything come true, and I was involved in it, and I did more research. And the more I got into it, the more I realized it was happening before me. So they can't just come on the scene and know it. If they did, then I'm a dummy because it took me a lot of years to figure it all out. What about you?
Well, I think what's so interesting about it is that they are not part of the story. They're coming in from a whole different angle, and it's like the elephant in the living room that now is becoming part of their story, but they're not using quite the same language, but yet the language is there. The banking changes, Basel III. I mean, I think if you got some old world people together and we wrote down 30 different things that we would find now our own, and I hate to use that expression, guru, but everybody knows it, so I'll use it, that they are now speaking in those terms without using prosperity packages and world global settlements in their sentence.
Yeah,
and what is your board name?
Putty-tat.
Okay, I thought I recognized your voice. Putty-tat.
One thing, Angel, questioned when you were speaking about the U.S. Treasury notes. I'm not sure that maybe people aren't aware that the process from RV to what happens afterwards is kind of like a cycle that will continue for quite a while, and that doesn't necessarily mean the Treasury notes have to be exposed on day one.
This is true. They have to be announced. I maintain they have to be announced. But no, it will take years to get them completely out of the system. I'm sure they'll coincide as the Iraqi dinar and the 3 zeros.
Well, I think that that's a good comparison is the story of the Iraqi dinar and the 3 zeros, and what you can anticipate over here in a different sense is that, like you had said, the devaluing and revaluing in a way, but it's the change in other words, it's going to be a system. So people who are kind of fearful or think that they may be short on Social Security checks or changing in money, I believe that all of that is handled in a way that it will be less, there will be a lot of stress around because these changes bring on stress for society as a whole.
Yes.
But I believe that there are things built into the system so that those on a personal level of maybe a Social Security check or some of the other things that are going on will not be felt on that basis. Your dollar for dollar will still feel the same, just as the Iraqi dollar, when the zeros drop, the value is changing in products and pricing and the way that whole resource system works.
That's
so
correct.
that stress, I don't think, is something that people need to feel from at least what I understand.
Spoon-fed is the word you're looking for, Putty-tat.
Pardon? Say that again, Papa Bear? Spoon-fed.
Looking for. We're going to be spoon-fed slowly.
Right.
Yes.
And I think there's a lot of ways that people will learn what's going on in a way that can be handled and less stressful too. I believe that with the World Global Settlements, prosperity packages, RV, there is also things that are planned to help create a new economy that will immediately bring in many people who were not part of these things.
Correct. It will
be
bring them in.
Be it gifting, be it planned projects, be it many, many changes that I always understood were going to go into place.
Right.
So
there will be more jobs for those who can't find any, and things like that for those who weren't in those programs. That is the whole thing. It will bring the money and the economy back in so people can live much better than they are now.
I think another thing that's important to bring up, and I think all of us see it if we hang out in the chat rooms or the forums, and I will exit myself after this, but one thing I appreciate about watching the chats and forums is that the crowd that owns Dinar and the crowd that was part of the prosperity packages, not so much World Global Settlements, because that I consider something different. That's a payment for past grievances, so to speak, through lawsuits, etc. But the prosperity packages and RV, there is a certain nature of the beast that was called into these projects, and I don't know why. But they are very giving in nature. They talk more about who they're going to give to, what they're going to do, what they're going to create, how they're going to do it, as much as they do about the rate and the date.
Correct.
So I truly believe that part of this whole scene is that those that have held the money for so long